Hi, my name is Julia Kraus, and I did both of my articles on human attraction. So my journal article was called Virtual Mate Poaching, a study of the tactics used to poach a potential mate on social networking sites. I shortened this title just to Virtual Mate Poaching for the purpose of space, and my popular press article was called Laws of Attraction. So my summary. So my journal article was written by Heather Parker, and what is mate poaching? So mate poaching is the behavior used by one person to attract another mate that's already involved in a romantic relationship. And then she split up her experiment into 4 different smaller experiments that related mate poaching to 4 different factors. So for my popular press article, it's written by Wendy Paris, and she talks about the different factors of attractiveness, and she relates her whole presentation to a long-term relationship. For audience, so my journal article is mainly for scientists, but since she defines almost every term she uses in the article, almost anyone could read it and understand it. Hers was very long. There was a lot of graphs, tables, heightened vocabulary, but again, she defined all of her vocab words. My popular press article, on the other hand, it's light reading. She didn't have to define words because she didn't really use any heightened vocabulary. It's more of an entertainment column. It was short because of limited space in magazines, and it had a lot of pictures. So, arguments. So the 4 miniature experiments in my journal article, my author hypothesized that none of my different factors would have a play on mate poaching. So mate poaching would not be affected whether it was in a certain environment or physical appearance of a person was enhanced, if they were demonstrating their resources, or if they had humor. None of those would play a part on how often someone would be mate poached. This was actually a surprise because for physical appearance, she did discover that there was a difference, there was an effect. And then she mentions how stealing a mate is usually for a short-term relationship. Most people don't try and steal a mate to end up marrying that person. And then for my popular press article, she mentions how social networking sites are these days used commonly for relationships. And she mentions how we fall back onto our primal attractions. So for example, if a female has curvature of the spine, most males find that attractive because that means we're going to be good at bearing children. And she also mentions how you can be too attractive. So if you're a 10 out of 10, that's not always a good thing because it's hard for you to find another 10 out of 10. And then she talks about long-term relationships more so than short-term relationships. So for evidence. So experiment 1 was relating mate poaching across different environments. And this was evaluated using a survey, and our author found no association between the environment and how often people were mate poached. For experiment 2, it was relating poaching and enhanced physical appearance. She did find a relation between these two. The more attractive you look, the more often you'll be mate poached. It makes sense. This was evaluated using a Likert scale, and those of you that don't know what a Likert scale is, it's like me handing you a piece of pizza, having you try it, and then me telling you to rank it on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best and 1 being the worst pizza you've ever tried. So a Likert scale is just to gauge your own opinions. The Likert scale was also used to evaluate experiment 2 and experiment 3. So experiment 2 was relating mate poaching and someone demonstrating their resources. She found no effect between these two, and for experiment 4, it was relating mate poaching and humor, and again, no relation between the two. And for laws of attraction, our author brings in a lot of her own experience into the article, and she also brings in more work from other authors such as David Buzz, Glenn Geyer, and Paul Eastwick. And then a few other factors that she mentions throughout her article is having equal attractiveness between a couple and chemistry between a couple. So my conclusion. My journal article was not mentioned in my popular press article, but put that aside, there was a lot of related topics between the two, such as networking, physical appearance and how long the relationship lasted. And then, is this an accurate representation? No, because the two did not mention each other. Like, Popular Press did not mention the journal article, so it wasn't trying to represent that article well. These are my references. Does anyone have any questions?